Hello there, everybody, and welcome. My name is Tamir Moore, and welcome to the latest episode here on my YouTube channel. Also, I will invite you to follow me on social media as I often post there a lot. You can check out the links to my Twitter and Instagram profiles on this intro screen. And one last quick thing, you can check out my latest video by clicking the card in the upper right corner. And now it is time to start today's featured episode. And now, live, here is Tamir Moore with this week's episode of What You Need to Know. Hey there, everybody. Welcome back, y'all. It's your boy, Tamir Moore. It's great to have you with us. Welcome to episode 11 of What You Need to Know. I'm really excited for this week's episode. We have a big NFC North duel that we'll be talking about today at the Chicago Bears visit the Green Bay Packers, Week 14, America's game of the week. There's a ton on the line in this game, and we'll get into that in just a moment. First of all, I just want to say, hope you had a great Thanksgiving. We've been off for a little bit. We did our last show about 10 days or so ago, so we had a nice, long, extended Thanksgiving break, but we are back in our traditional Sunday slot. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Hope you enjoyed your holiday weekend. I certainly did. Me and my mom cooked. We cooked some ham, some turkey, some macaroni and cheese, which was really, really good. We cooked some rolls, cranberry sauce. My mom made a couple of cheesecakes. I really enjoyed the cheesecakes. One with strawberries. And yeah, we had a really good Thanksgiving feast. I also put up lots of holiday decorations as well. I'm a big holiday person, so I just definitely wanted to get into the holiday spirit. Thanksgiving was good. Started off with the 6 ABC Duncan Thanksgiving Day Parade. Great job. Rick Williams, Cecily Tynan hosting, Karen Rogers, Adam Joseph, Elisa Vittorelli on the parade route. Duncan Fan Cam. Carson Kressley did a great job. Guest co-hosting once again. And then, of course, the football, right? Packers, Lions, what a game that was. And, of course, we covered Green Bay and Detroit last week for What You Need to Know. So if you missed last week's episode and would like to watch it now, you can do so by clicking the card in the upper right corner. As I mentioned before, this is the 11th episode of What You Need to Know. So last week's show was episode number 10. And then we had Chiefs versus Cowboys. Dallas beating Kansas City. Dallas beating both of the Super Bowl 59 teams in less than a week. And then how about Cincinnati going to Baltimore and upsetting the Ravens, and Joe Burrow's return back to action in a game result that nobody saw coming. And the Cincinnati Bengals have a pulse. Now, Cincinnati has to basically run the table. They can't afford to lose any more games. But remember last year, Cincinnati started 4-8. And Cincinnati was able to run the table, win 5 straight games, were alive until basically the final day of the season, late afternoon window. So we'll see if Cincinnati is able to do the same thing again. And of course, Black Friday, we have Bears Eagles. Chicago went into Philadelphia last week, made a statement. Bears winning 24-15 against the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. The Packers defeating the Lions 31-24. Hang on a second here. Give me a second. Hang on here. That's not what I want. Hang on, folks. Give me one quick second. And then, of course, Cowboys beat the Chiefs 31-28. And by the way, that was the most watched game in NFL history. 57.2 million viewers tuned into that game. So that was fun. And, of course, we had the Sunday slate and the Monday slate. And that, of course, leads us into the Week 14 Sunday slate, which we are at right now. So, yeah. Hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving. Thanks so much for tuning in and joining us once again. It's great to have you guys watching and tune in wherever you are every single week. A little bit of housekeeping before we get into the show today. Make sure that you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share this channel so you'll be notified of all of our newest content. We post a brand new video here on YouTube every single week. We'll have highlights for you on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and more. So make sure you keep it locked right here to Tamir Moore YouTube channel so you can get some of the best content possible. If you like football, if you like to learn more about the NFL, then this is the place for you to be. I'm honored and thrilled to be your tour guide, your host every single week during the 2025 season. It's been a blast so far. Also, some great news to report. As I mentioned before, we're trying to get to 100 subscribers on this channel by the end of this year. We're now in December, so time is running out. So I will really appreciate if you will share this channel, tell a friend about it, because our subscriber numbers are starting to grow. We added a new subscriber since the last episode of this show. We're now at 56 subscribers, meaning we're 44 subscribers away from our 100 subscriber goal. So I really appreciate the new subscriber. Keep the subscriptions coming. And also make sure that you share this video with your friends and family. And that will also help out the algorithm as well. The algorithm loves when you like, share, and subscribe. So make sure you guys do all of those things. Sorry, I got some dust on my desk. Probably had to clean my desk off after we were done filming this. Coming up today on the show, we will have 3 sections for you in this What You Need to Know. We will start off with the reference notes, then we'll go into the injury report, and then we will talk about the game capsule to wrap things up. Before we talk about section 1, the reference notes, this is not the first time that we've covered the Chicago Bears game this year. We covered the Chicago Bears way back in week 3 against the Dallas Cowboys. If you want to learn more about that game, then please click the card in the upper right corner. As for Green Bay, this is the 3rd time that we've covered a Packers game this season. We first covered the Packers back in week 11 against the New York Giants. Please click the card in the upper right corner to learn more about that game. And then I already told you to click the card in the upper right corner for the week 13 Packers-Lions video that we did last week. I like covering teams multiple times during the season. You start to get more familiar the more time you see them. This is my 2nd Bears game. This is our 3rd Packers game already. And we might do Packers-Bears in week 16. That is not confirmed yet, but I will certainly let you guys know. Next week, we will have Lions-Rams for episode 12 of What You Need to Know. So make sure you join us next weekend for that. Another big NFC game with lots of implications in that game. Okay, let's get into the reference notes. As we previously mentioned, the Green Bay Packers, 8-3-1, will host the Chicago Bears with a 9-3 record here this afternoon. An important game for both teams here at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. As you can see, I'm not wearing a shirt and tie this week. I'm changing up my normal attire. It's expected to be really cold here in Green Bay today. Temperatures are expected to be in the upper teens to near 20 degrees. Wind chills will make it feel a lot colder than that. So obviously we have to change it up a little bit. But don't worry, I'll be back in a shirt and tie for next week's Lions-Ram video. So a 1-week break from the shirt and the tie, if you will. First place in the NFC North is up for grabs. That should go without saying. The winner will be in first place in the division. The loser will have some work to do over the final 4 weeks of the regular season. Let's talk about the Chicago Bears under the guise of first-year head coach Ben Johnson, who came over from the Detroit Lions after serving as their offensive coordinator for Dan Campbell over the last several years. Chicago had a really rough start. They started 0-2, losses to Minnesota and Detroit. However, the Bears have turned things around, picking up wins in 9 of their previous 10 games, with the only loss during this time coming to the Ravens back in Week 8. Chicago's won 5 straight entering this week's matchup. Next week, the Chicago Bears will go back to Soldier Field, their home venue, to host Myles Garrett and the Cleveland Browns in Week 15, Sunday, December 14th at 1 p.m. Eastern, right here on Fox. In fact, Chicago has 3 home games over the final 4 weeks. Cleveland next week, Green Bay Week 16, and then they'll host the Detroit Lions in Week 18, the final week of the season. And then in Week 17, the Bears will have their final road game of the regular season when they take on the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday Night Football. As for Green Bay, Following a quick midseason slump after a 5-1-1 start, losses at home against the Panthers and Eagles, the Packers have caught fire, riding a 3-game winning streak into this game. Next week, the Packers will go to Denver to face Cortland Sutton, Bo Nix, and the Broncos at a very pivotal interconference matchup. You can catch that game Sunday, December 14th at 4:25 p.m. Eastern over on CBS. Okay, section 1 is complete. Let's move on now to section 2, the injury report. This is the injury report that we have compiled for this broadcast, and you can see there's a lot of folks on the injury report, especially on the Green Bay side. The Bears is a little lighter, so let's dive into it and give you guys an inside perspective on players that will be playing, players who are questionable, and players who will be out and sitting this one out. Let's start with the Chicago Bears, since they are a division team, so they get top priority here. The Bears have several players on the injury report that are expected to play today. Defensive lineman Andrew Billings has been dealing with a concussion, full participant in practice all week long. He's expected to play today. Bears linebacker TJ Edwards has been dealing with a hand/hamstring injury, limited participant on Wednesday and Thursday. He was a full participant on Friday. He's expected to play today for the Chicago Bears. Defensive back Jalen Johnson has been dealing with a groin injury, full participant all week. He's expected to go, no injury status on his part whatsoever. Bears running back Kyle Monangai, who we'll talk about more in a minute, has been dealing with an ankle injury. Kyle did not participate in Wednesday practice, limited participant on Thursday. He was a full participant on Friday, so he ramped it up as the week went on. Monangai will be good to go for today's game against the Packers. Bears defensive lineman Dominique Robinson has been dealing with a concussion, full participant all week. He's good to go. Bears linebacker Noah Sewell has been dealing with an elbow injury, full participant Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. He's expected to play. And Joe Thuney, Bears offensive lineman, got some rest, did not practice on Thursday. He did practice on Friday. He is expected to play today. And we should mention that the Bears did not practice on Wednesday. Participation is an estimation. So a very important thing to mention when we talk about the injury report for the Chicago Bears. Unfortunately, though, the Chicago Bears got some key injuries for this week's game. Tyreek Stevenson, Bears defensive back, hip injury, did not participate in practice, out for this game. And this is a big loss. Rome Odunze has been dealing with a foot injury. Rome did not practice all week. He's out for this game, so that's a big loss for the Chicago Bears. All right, let's talk about the home team now, the Green Bay Packers. Let's start at the top of the injury report. Guard Aaron Banks of the Packers got some rest. Limited participant in Friday practice, good to go for this game. Packers defensive lineman Carl Brooks has been dealing with an ankle injury. He was limited Wednesday, Thursday, practice Friday, good to go today. Packers linebacker Edgerrin Cooper has been dealing with a shoulder injury. Edgerrin was limited in practice on Wednesday, full participant on Thursday, Friday, good to go for this game. Josh Jacobs, remember, had to sit out one game earlier this year because of a knee injury. That's the game Emmanuel Wilson filled in. Josh Jacobs was limited in practice Wednesday and Thursday, full participant Friday. He's expected to play today. Packers quarterback Jordan Love has been dealing with a left shoulder injury, full participant all week. He's expected to once again start for the Green Bay Packers here today. Excuse me. Apologize for that. Man, I'm like full of air. Sorry about that, folks. Packers linebacker Quay Walker has been dealing with a neck injury. He was limited in practice to start the week. Full participant Thursday, Friday. No injury status. He's expected to play. Packers wide receiver Dontavian Wick, coming off of a brilliant performance against Detroit on Thanksgiving Day, has been dealing with an ankle injury. He was limited in practice all week, but he's expected to play. Packers offensive lineman Zach Tom has been dealing with a back injury. He was limited all week. he's expected to go. And Baron Sorrell, Packers defensive lineman, has to deal with an ankle injury. He was limited Wednesday, full participant on Thursday and Friday. He's expected to play today. And one note for the Packers on the injury report. Wide receiver Jaden Reed, who has not played since week 2 against the Commanders. Remember, he came down hard on his shoulder during that Thursday night game. He's been out for nearly 3 months now. But the good news for Green Bay is that Jaden Reed was activated by the Packers yesterday, Saturday, off of injured reserve. So that's a huge boost to get Jaden Reed back. So that means you got your full complement of wide receivers now if you're the Green Bay Packers. So obviously that's a really good sign, right? You got Christian Watson, you got Tamir Wicks, you have Jaden Reed. It might take Jaden some time to get back up to speed, but the fact that Jaden is even back and playing is a really positive sign. So welcome back, Jaden, to the Green Bay Packers. Your teammates certainly miss you, and look to see what impact Jaden Reed can have here in this game. He's been dealing with a foot and shoulder injury for the majority of the season. There are some folks questionable for this game on the Green Bay side, starting with safety Javon Bullard, who's been dealing with an ankle injury. He was limited in practice on Wednesday. He did not participate on Thursday or Friday. He is questionable for this game, so we'll see if he goes or not. Packer defensive lineman Brenton Cox Jr. has been dealing with a groin injury, limited all week, questionable for this game. Packers rookie wide receiver Matthew Golden out of Texas has been dealing with a wrist injury. He was limited in practice all week. Golden's status for this game is questionable, so we'll see if he'll start or not start. And then we have Packers quarterback Nate Hobbs has been dealing with a knee injury. He was limited in practice. The former Raider all week. Nate is questionable for this game. Unfortunately, the Packers have some players who will be out for this game. Marshawn Lloyd for the Packers, their running back. Calf injury. He was limited in practice all week, and he was ruled out for this game, so he can't go. Packers defensive lineman Lucas Van Ness has been dealing with a foot injury. He did not participate in practice this week whatsoever, so he's out for this game. Savion Williams, Packers wide receiver, foot injury, did not participate all week. He's out. And Devontae Wyatt, the defensive lineman for the Green Bay Packers, ankle injury, did not participate, out for this game. Okay, we are 2/3 of the way home. I hope you appreciate the show so far. It's been a really informative episode, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed what we put out so far, and still have a lot more to do before we sign off for this episode. Section 2 done, injury report. Section 3, game capsule. This is my favorite part of the show. We dive into the nuts and bolts of this matchup, and we will delve into some key storylines and some key players you keep your eye on for today's Bears-Packers game. So with that in mind, let's get into it. First place in the NFC North is on the line today as the Chicago Bears visit the Green Bay Packers, two storied rivals meeting once again with plenty at stake. Currently, the Chicago Bears are the number 1 seed in the NFC. They're tied with the Los Angeles Rams at 9-3, but the best record in the conference. Chicago owned the tiebreaker since they have a better conference record than the Rams. Chicago is 6-2 in conference games. The Rams are 4-3 in conference games. Keep in mind, the Bears and Rams don't play each other this season. I want to clarify, the Chicago Bears are really good. Okay, when the last time that the Chicago Bears are this good this late in the season? I can't remember any recent time, but for Chicago Bears, there's a reason to be hopeful, certainly reason to believe here in Chi-Town. They are really excited about the Chicago Bears, and why not? You're the number 1 seed, you lead the division entering week 14. The Chicago Bears are sitting pretty with a chance to grab their 10th win and their 6th consecutive win today. The last time that the Bears had the number one seed this late in the season was back in 2006, 19 seasons ago. That's the year in which the Chicago Bears made it all the way to Super Bowl 41 before ultimately losing to the Colts in that year's championship game. So it's been a long time since the Chicago Bears have held the number one seed this late in the season. As far as the Packers are concerned, they have the number 6 seed in the NFC. Green Bay currently one of the three wild cards alongside Seattle and San Francisco. Look how good the NFC West is right now. You got 3 teams in the NFC West with at least 9 wins or more. So that's why it's very important for Green Bay to win this game, to try to keep pace with Chicago, try to grab first place and win today. Green Bay, they are currently the second of the 3 wildcard teams. They're behind Seattle, 9-3, ahead of San Francisco, 9-4. They're second place in the NFC North, trailing only the team that they're playing this week, the Chicago Bears. The Bears defense currently leads the league in takeaways. You watch the Chicago Bears, they have a variety of taking the ball away from people. Coming off the game against the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles on Black Friday, who have recorded the fewest giveaways. Additionally, the Bears defense faced Eagles quarterback and reigning Super Bowl 59 MVP Jalen Hurts last week, who only thrown just 1 pick prior to the team's meeting in Week 13. And now, Chicago defense is scheduled to compete against Packer quarterback Jordan Love, who's only been picked off 3 times on the season so far through the first 13 weeks of the season. We have 16 keys for you this week. Let's examine each one by one and try to break it all down for you and make things simple and streamlined for you guys. Key number 1, Bears defense week 13 at Eagles. They allowed 15 points to Philadelphia, with the Eagle going 4 for 12 on third downs and making 2 trips to the red zone. So far this season, the Chicago Bears have 26 turnovers, which is first in football. They managed to force 2 takeaways against the Eagles last week. Yep, the Chicago Bears showing you that they can take the ball away. The Chicago Bears, man, they love taking the ball away. That's one of their strengths. And last week got 2 takeaways against the Eagles, helped Philadelphia to just 15 points for the game. So a strong performance from the Bears defense last week. Key number 2, Bears pass defense week 13 at Eagles. This is what they did against Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts. They allowed 230 passing yards, referring to Chicago's pass defense now, 2 touchdown passes, and they did get a pick of Jalen Hurts fake to Kevin Byard, which was the 6th interception of the year. Hurts was restricted to a quarterback rating of 84 and held to under 7 yards per attempt. In 2025, the Bears have 17 interceptions, placing them first in the league. So not only the Bears are getting the takeaway, but they're getting the interceptions at a pretty high clip. If you're Ben Johnson, you got to be pleased with that. Defense flying around, making plays every single week. Watch film, watch tape of the Bears game last week in Philadelphia, and the Chicago Bears put a really good defensive performance together. It's going to be essential that they do it again against a really good Green Bay team. In recent performances, Packers quarterback Jordan Love has not thrown an interception in his last 4 games. And that leads us to key number 3. Packers quarterback Jordan Love, week 13 at Lions on Thanksgiving Day. During the Thanksgiving 31-24 win at Detroit, Packers quarterback Jordan Love achieved an impressive 234 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, and a quarterback rating of 124.2, showcasing a remarkable performance on Thanksgiving Day. Jordan Love put together one of his best outings of the season so far from the 6-year quarterback out of Utah State. For the 2025 season, Love's statistics include 19 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and a quarterback rating of 104.3. Yes. Yes, Jordan Love, 6-year quarterback out of Utah State. Got it right. Got it right. Yay! 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 Hype. What can I say? All right, let's refocus and get back into the show. I do apologize for that. Key number 4, let's stick with Green Bay now. Packers offense week 13 at Lions. On Thanksgiving Day, the Green Bay Packers offense demonstrated its strength by scoring 31 points against Detroit while playing on the road. Notably, they have scored over 23 points in 9 of 12, or 75% of the games this season. This indicates to us their consistent ability to generate significant offensive output. It is uncommon for them to have trouble scoring the football. In week 13, they got 31 points and went 50% on third down, which was really, really good. And another good thing for the Packers, they were really thankful to see that Jordan Love did not get sacked. His uniform was clean virtually the entire game. He completed 30 pass attempts without getting sacked. Love had to experience 0 to 2 sacks in 8 of his last 9 games. So that's a good streak that Jordan Love certainly wants to keep going in this game. In the previous week's Black Friday matchup in Philadelphia, the Bears pass rush was unable to bring down Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts, managing to hit him just once throughout the football game. The Bears defensive backs allowed over 130 yards and 2 touchdowns to Eagles wide receiver A.J. Brown. However, the return of cornerback Kyler Gordon and Jalen Johnson is expected to enhance Chicago's performance against the passing game as the season progresses, thanks to a healthier secondary. The Bears have been banged up, especially defensively with injury, but the Bears are getting healthier, which is huge, especially in the fact that the Bears are in the midst of a playoff run right now. So certainly you would appreciate if you get as many players back as possible. The Chicago Bears are capable of doing what they want to do to make some noise in the NFC and really be the ultimate Cinderella story we've seen in more recent seasons in the NFL. Key number 5, back to the Packers here. The Green Bay Packers got excellent performances from a pair of wide receivers last week against the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving Day 10 days ago. Let's start with wide receiver Dontavian Wicks. He had a standout performance against the Lions last week, getting 7 targets, making 6 catches for 94 yards. He scored twice, marking a season high in both receptions and yards. Key number 6, Packers wide receiver Christian Watson, week 13 at Lions. Christian Watson also had a notable game last week. Christian had 10 targets, Christian caught 4 balls, and Christian wrapped up 80 yards, including a spectacular catch for Christian, which also represented a season high in yardage for Christian Watson as well. So really good Christian to see that. Unlike Dontavian Wicks and Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs did not pick up a lot of yards, right? He only picked up 20 yards and a touchdown in the game last week against the Detroit Lions. Key number 7, again, let's talk about the Green Bay Packers. Let's talk about Packers running back Josh Jacobs, week 13 at Lions. On Thanksgiving Day, Josh Jacobs returned from an injury. Remember, he sat out that week 12 game against Minnesota, the game that Packers won by a final score of 23-6. At the game, Emmanuel Wilson really played well in. Jacobs returned last week from his injury. He carried the ball 17 times for 83 yards, averaging 4.9 yards per carry, and providing a significant boost to the Packers' backfield. He has surpassed 70 rushing yards in 3 of his last 4 games. Furthermore, the Chicago Bears have demonstrated a dominant rushing attack against Philadelphia last week, leading the reigning Super Bowl champions with no effective countermeasures. 2 Bears running backs in particular had impressive performances that are worth discussing on this show. Key number 8, Bears running back Kyle Monangai. In week 13 against the Philadelphia Eagles, he recorded 22 carries for 130 yards, averaging 5.9 yards per carry, along with 1 touchdown. Key number 9, Bears running back DeAndre Swift in week 13 against his former team, the Philadelphia Eagles, had 18 carries for 125 yards, boasting an average of 6.9 yards per carry, also with 1 touchdown. Currently, only the Buffalo Bills average more rushing yards than the Chicago Bears. Key number 10. The Bears offense in 2025 has scored 24 or more in 6 of their last 8, averaging 153.8 rushing yards per game, which ranks second in the NFL. So again, the Chicago Bears are able to run the ball right down your throat, and there's nothing you can do about it. And the Philadelphia Eagles found that out very painfully last week on Black Friday in front of a national television audience, or streaming audience in this case, on Prime Video. Key number 11. Packers rush defense week 13 at Lions. On Thanksgiving Day, the Packers rush defense only allowed 68 yards on 3.4 yards per carry to Lions running backs for the 2025 season. They maintain an average of 3.9 yards per carry, ranking 6th in the league. Key number 12. Packers defense week 13 at Lions. The Packers defense allowed 24 points in their matchup against the Lions, converting 8 of 13 third downs. Previously, kept opponents under 21 points in the last 4 games. Key number 13. Packers defensive lineman Micah Parsons, 2025. Packers defensive lineman Micah Parsons has been a critical asset. Micah has recorded 6 sacks over his previous 3 games. Micah contributed significantly by accounting for 2.5 of his team's 3 sacks during the Lions game on Thanksgiving, strengthening the Green Bay defense as the season goes on. As we get later into the season, the Packers defense is getting stronger and more nastier, and defense always travels, especially late in the season, cold weather games, December and January. The old saying is defense wins championships. And if the Packers continue to play like this on the defensive side, Micah Parsons wrecking things, the Green Bay Packers have a chance to come out the NFC this year, especially if Jordan Love, Dontavian Wicks, Christian Watson, and the Packers offense continue to do what they're doing. I think Matt LaFleur is coaching a potential NFC Super Bowl team, or at least a team that can go deep into January. We'll see. Key number 14. This is the last key on Green Bay. Packers pass defense week 13 at Lions. In terms of pass defense, the Packers allowed 233 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a quarterback rating of 132.9 to Lions quarterback Jared Goff. This is the unit that Bears quarterback Caleb Williams will face this upcoming weekend. For the 2025 season, the Packers pass defense has held opposing quarterbacks to a quarterback rating of 89.3, placing them 12th in the league. However, they did allow a touchdown and over 100 yards to Lions wide receiver Jameson Williams. Remember, Jameson Williams saw an elevated role last week because Amon-Ra St. Brown had to leave the game with an ankle injury. And by the way, Amon-Ra came back for the Cowboys game on Thursday night, and what a difference he made in that game as the Lions put up 44 against the Dallas Cowboys. But that's beside the point. This week, Green Bay will face a second-year quarterback from USC, Caleb Williams of the Bears. Key number 15. This is our next to the last key for this week. In week 13 against the Eagles, Bears quarterback Caleb Williams completed 17 of 36 passes for 154 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception, resulting in a quarterback rating of 56.9. He has completed under 60% of his passes in 8 of 9 games. Williams leads the league in off-target throws and had a particularly troubling interception last week in Philadelphia, where he basically threw the ball to Eagles linebacker Jalen Hunt out of Houston Christian. Cole Kmet, Roman Duday, who's out because of the foot, Colston Revlin, the rookie, and another rookie, and Luther Burden, each recorded fewer than 40 yards last week against the Philadelphia Eagles. And this is our final key for this show, key number 16. The Bears' offense in 2025 has not allowed more than 2 sacks in 7 consecutive games. However, Caleb Williams was sacked twice last week in Philadelphia. Pretty interesting to see if Caleb Williams can evade and escape the ever so dangerous Micah Parsons this week. That is it for section 3, the game capsule. Hope you enjoyed that one. I hope you guys have a good idea of what to look out for during this colossal Bears versus Packers showdown here today. Hey, y'all, you made it to the end of the show. I appreciate that. Next week on What You Need to Know, we will have episode number 12. We will have an NFC battle from SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, as Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions take on Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams, two teams that, of course, have hopes of making the postseason on the NFC side in 2025. We'll be back on YouTube with highlights across the social media channels next weekend for Week 15 of the 2025 season. Damn, this season is flying by so fast. All right, just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything. Before we go, make sure that you like, subscribe, share, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified of all of our newest content we post all the time. So make sure you don't miss a moment of the action. And remember, you can go into the show description for additional news and notes from this program, and you can catch all the previous episodes of What You Need to Know, starring Tamir Moore down there too. Make sure that you do that once you watch this. Let me know what you think of the series so far, what you like, what you don't like, what you want us to improve on, what you want us to take and cut down a little bit. Also, don't be a lurker. If you watch and enjoy my content, you might as well join the Tamir Moore YouTube family and be a part of the independent media space that we are going here. So just wanted to mention that as well, because a lot of people watch these videos and are not subscribed. Why you want to do that, right? If you watch my content, if you enjoy what we do, be part of the family. Let me know that you enjoy it and want me to continue doing it. So just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware about that. Something I wanted to address with you guys here. And I think that is it for What You Need to Know, episode 11. Thank y'all for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Enjoy Bears Packers and the rest of the Week 14 action. This is Tamir Moore signing off for this episode of What You Need to Know. And again, please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. We're out, and I will see you next week. What's up, guys? It's Tamir Moore. I appreciate you for watching today's video, and I look forward to seeing you next time for another YouTube video. In the meanwhile, don't forget to like and subscribe, and also check out my social media profiles and my YouTube profile, which I provided in this outro screen. So long, everybody, and have a great day.